And welcome to a little divergence from the usual setting of Blades in the Dark, as for the next few weeks we're going to be playing They Came From Beyond the Grave. Now, to anyone who's not familiar with this as a system, it's set and influenced very much by the schlocky horrors of the late 60s, early 70s, and hammer horror and grindhouse cinema. And very much kind of playing to that era of rather questionable production value. And without any further ado, we're going to jump in to Daughters of the Damned, which begins on a slightly misty and rather cold autumnal evening on a studio backlot just outside London, where multiple caravans sit around. There's the cries of fairly rough-handed rigging gaffers who, several of them supported by harnesses, trying to mount lights that shine down into a central area which has been decorated to look like a rainy cobblestone street. And from one of the nearby trailers, there's a knock at the door. As a hunkered up in blankets and the hood up, a production assistant calls you to set. Apatura, could you please describe the person who opens the door?
Yes. Arden is a young man in his 20s. He's very, very tall and lanky with a mop of ginger hair and big round glasses.
And the production assistant says, they're ready for you, calling you to set.
All right, let's go then.
And as you cross the lot, you go past a team of who are hanging around the back of one of the vehicle wagons. A very strong herbal aroma fills the air of this evening in the late 60s, as the technical vehicle crew look over and you sort of see them passing something between themselves, and one of them kind of gives you a nod as you carry on by. And Wyverian, you see this figure approaching yourself at the moment. Kind of, you're aware of someone working over your shoulders with a lint roller, and this another assistant in front of you is kind of like checking the linings on your costume. Could you please describe?
Tristan is relatively average height, blonde, slicked back hair, almost your very quintessential. Think of actors in this day and age, he kind of comes to mind. Almost a very generic-esque looking actor. Kind of looks over at the ginger-haired fellow coming over and gives a slight nod as if he knows what's about ready to start, but obviously something right now and can't be bothered to follow.
As there's a brief exchange, lastly, coming from the other way as this ring of trailers kind of surrounds this central production space. And Robyn, can you please introduce us?
You see this middle-aged man. He has a beard, and he's very brooding. That's the descriptive word I choose for him.
And as you all begin to coalesce on this shared space, you're aware of behind you. You hear a voice acknowledging you. Darling, it's been so long. Robyn. And as you turn, you see a very well, almost kind of baroque dressed woman who's swanning towards you, this costume designer hastily trailing behind her, trying to keep this bustle train out of the mud and out of the dirt, kind of hunched over, picking up pieces of fabric as she goes, as this woman just swans towards you, cigarette in one hand, drink in the other. When was the last time? Sorry, as she leans forward and snaps out a pair of pronged teeth and goes, I tell you, I'm 95% hairspray and 5% ill-fitting false teeth. How long has it been? It's been years, darling. What have you been doing?
Just working from gig to gig, you know? What have you been doing, other than getting ash all over your costume?
Yeah. Please. It cleans up, and as long as they don't film it, no one ever needs to know, do they? Well, I've been doing various things. I was in a wonderful production of Othello. We're running. We have another 2 weeks. I'll get you tickets. You must come along.
Count me in. I sure will come to the premiere.
And as the two of you speak and kind of shoot the breeze, you're aware of a final figure approaching. A older man in a tweed jacket who flicks through pages, sort of casting his eyes up, looks around and goes, wonderful, come in, beckons you all in close. This is Bruno Kildare, one of the many kind of stock directors of this type of production. And as he calls you all in together, he sort of takes a look, takes each of you in and goes, wonderful. Now, I trust you all know who you're playing, and just to give you a little bit of background on where we're going to be going today, we're going to be bringing it in on the first day of the action. We'll be filming the opening sequence. Now, this is obviously when you're all part of this shared paranormal detective agency. So, is everyone any questions before we begin? Does anyone want to clarify anything? Do we have any? Yes, Tristan.
Okay, so as you very well stated, we all know our characters, and he flips through his script. You're gonna have to remind me again. How the hell do you say this character's last name?
Well, personally, I've been saying Korozda, but Korozda, I've learned in several years of directing never, ever question writers. It makes things incredibly difficult.
And Tristan begins to mutter the last name underneath his breath like 6 or 7 times as if he's trying to commit it to memory.
And as you do that, it's leaning in towards you as that rigging team, the team that have rigged up with the carriage, begin to reverse a truck that's pulling said carriage rather than having an actual horse-drawn affair. They begin to sort of position it into one side of this backlot section. And he says, well, if the three of you would be so kind as to take your marks, let's make cinema.
Sure.
Stepping up into the carriage, there's a moment where he begins the usual process as the camera team begin to set up. There's one of them, he's sort of sat on the dolly and is on the chair, and they're ready to kind of push him along, filming within the carriage. As the script supervisor walks over and says, "You don't really think this is cinema, do you?" And the director, as Bruno, turns to him and says, "Of course not. It's schlock that will be forgotten within 2 months of its release." And action! As we cut into a very foggy, very rainy London night. Rain begins to fall from above onto the roof of the carriage as a subtitle reveals Summer 1856, London. As the three of you sit there with another performer. This is playing the role of one Ignatius Remington, and owner of the Remington Paranormal Detective Agency. He sits there, top hat, silver-topped cane, focuses on each of you. I had a visitor late last night, and I thank you all for being here at such late notice. Turns out a rather grim murder has been committed. As the carriage rattles on, he pauses for a moment as the houses begin to become more and more ornate as this tracked background rolls around behind you. Looks out the window, and the victim in question was one Harlan Hamilton, a member of a society who met once per year, calling themselves the Infernal Club. Now, it seems that Mr. Hamilton was delayed in his attendance, and, well, the reason for his missing of last night's annual convening of the group has been explained. I will be looking into other affairs, but while this goes on, I trust that you would be able to examine the crime scene in question. I've already cleared everything with the yard. They're expecting you. As the carriage pulls to a slow. If you should need my assistance, I will be at the office as usual. As disembarking the carriage, you stand before a ornate, white facaded grand house, part of a terrace, where two beat police stand out front, both of them looking fairly dejected as the rain continues to drizzle down. And you can see that the door is being left open, and as you do, you see two orderlies from a nearby hospital removing a gurney down the steps, covered in a decidedly red-soaked white sheet. What would you like to do?
Jarad is... He's going to go up and begin to discuss the situation with the police officers stationed there.
As you do, one of them tips the brim of his custodian hat. Good evening, sir. We're told to expect you.
Great. We were, of course, given some of the details, but nothing like a first-hand account, I would say. Or, well, second-hand account rather than the third-hand account that I got.
Well, I mean, you're welcome to have the first-hand account. He was the one that heard that. He was the responding officer. Not that you'll get much out of him. As he nods in the direction of the house and looking through the door, you can see another officer, young, probably barely into his 20s, hat upturned inside his in his lap, and he's just slightly rocking backwards and forwards.
Is he gonna be okay?
It's shock, I'm sure.
I kind of look over to my two comrades.
Seems to be a familiar sight for me. I deal with this sometimes. Mine falls under my purview, so should I lead the way?
Well, if it's underneath your preview, as it were, I would suggest you do. Yes, of course.
Very well. I start making my way to the young officer who's rocking back and forth in shock.
You can, as you arrive, you can see the decidedly sort of half a tin. There's half a tin of vegetable soup that's swimming in the bottom of his hat. As he looks up, sort of colour drained from his face, and it's slightly shaking.
Pleasure to meet you, officer. I'm Deandro McAdams. I reach out my hand to shake his.
A very, very shaky hand returns. Is he, sir? Officer Wainwright, sir.
Officer Wainwright. Well, you seem like you've seen a ghost. May I ask what's transpired?
I am going to say at this point, make me a ooh, I don't know. Yeah, make me a manipulation empathy check.
Is there any way I can assist?
Ooh, what you? How do you do?
When in doubt, the tried and true, however many successes I get, adds die.
Yeah, it's I imagine it's very similar. I just realised I never actually saw that in the.
Just want to go with that then?
Yeah, if you roll that.
Rolling it now.
And
3 successes.
oh, very nice. So you can add 3 to your roll. Right.
Okay. All right.
So you to roll on the.
Did I do it?
How many did you get?
We pretend we did not see it.
He pauses for a moment as he's about to tell you what. As he relives what he has seen, he looks up. His eyes go up the stairs, and he just leans forward and throws up once again into the hat.
I'm sure you're going to be just fine.
As he shakes his head and it's it's not natural, sir. It's not natural, what's up there is it's devilry itself.
Devil?
It's like the devil himself.
I suppose we'll leave you alone for now. Don't need you to hurl any more into your hat. And I get up, turn to my 2 compatriots. So, what do you think of?
I mean, we didn't really get anything other than the devil itself.
Yeah. Must be quite horrific. He's still hurling until now, so.
I guess if we're going to understand this, we're just going to have to see for ourselves.
I suppose we will. Well,
At this point, we're going to just jump to Apatura. Is there anything that Arden would like to do?
Probably to take a look at the files around. If there's anything written there that could be useful.
Okay, so with that, make me a intellect
Okay.
Maybe. Sorry, just looking for the combination of this. What works with this? Wyverian, any thoughts as to what would pass for investigation?
That would I would think definitely, one. Wait, these don't have hoverables like I thought they did.
I'm thinking Enigma.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning towards as well. Be right back.
Yeah, maybe an intellect Enigma check.
Guess I just click on Enigma and select. Okay. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And as what are we going to do here? We just wait for Wyverian to get back. So what were you looking for specifically?
Well, that's the issue. Nothing in particular. Maybe reports. Maybe witness. I don't know the word for that. Testimony.
Okay, so what you do find is a single so what seems to be kind of there's not much there. Obviously, the only people so far are responding police and a couple of investigators from Scotland Yard. And as you sort of look around the immediate vicinity, a lot of the main hallway is populated by two doctors or responding medics and a couple of beat officers. No sign of the inspectors. However, on the floor, a little bit up the stairwell, there is a necklace. And as you, the seemingly the sole piece of object of interest that's been left behind, and picking it up, you see a vision of, you feel physical pain, you feel something claw at your chest, you feel something grip around your throat, and you instinctively kind of put your hand up to your up around your neck, where you feel like your throat is being physically ripped out. Everything is intact as you drop the necklace, but the last thing you see are a pair of slitted, almost cat-like eyes staring directly at you. I am going to say at this point, there will be a condition where what's going to be I'm going to say that you are being hunted. So, there's a bit of a twofold advantage with this, that you've got essentially an extra ability to find out who's responsible. At the same time, whoever's behind this now knows who you are as well.
That's a good start.
Are you alright?
Yeah, never better. Does this things rings any bells to you? Yes. I'm not touching it again.
It's a glass necklace, which actually, as it drops, as it kind of falls in slow motion and shatters on the ground.
Well, I can't really... it's in a million pieces. I can't really do much with it now. So, no, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay, yeah, sure. Do you know if there are any broom here? I don't have the money to pay them back. And I don't want them to know I broke it.
Roll out.
You're right next to them. It's you're right next to them. They know it's.
No, they didn't. Nothing. There was a cat.
Well, if I heard them correctly, they said this is another murder. Like, there's been murders before. That's what another means. So should we ask what could be the link to this one? Why it would be considered another?
I think you're on the right track. I'm kind of interested in seeing more about those other murders. While there may not be a direct link, there may be maybe a similar method to the murders.
Yes.
How did this person even die?
There's one way to find out. Asking the officers, of course.
And as if on cue, a figure not in the uniform but in a sort of 3/4 length coat emerges at the top of the stairs, wipes his brow with a handkerchief, and begins to make his way down. Older man, probably pushing towards retirement. Steely grey hair as he looks up and... We had word to expect you.
Excellent. What is your name, sir?
This is a one... Obadiah Saxon. Inspector Obadiah Saxon.
So, Inspector Saxon, what can you tell us about this murder and the murders that preceded it, if you know anything about those?
As he begins to inform you, as he says, house was locked. Assailant evidently got in by our upstairs window. As it there's kind of smash cuts to this this window, which has been repeated scratches show that it was opened from the outside, seemingly by something with claws. Body itself mutilated, as there's a vision of the victim, Harlan Hamilton himself, crucified across a four-poster bed with the lower part of his body torn away, entrails just hanging out straight into the floor. As something of a message. Not enough of an educated man myself to translate. As on the wall in blood is written several incantations, seemingly in Latin.
Would you show us this bedroom that this happened in?
By all means. As he indicates upstairs, and as the four of you, along with Inspector Saxon, go upstairs along the corridor into the master bedroom, the body has been removed, but the floor is stained heavily with blood and all these Latin inscriptions painted across the walls. The sheets tousled on the bed, also blood-soaked.
I think a white handkerchief cover my face. That's horrible.
Jarad almost does the same thing, but instead of uttering, he's more wiping at his mouth, as if just trying to keep himself composed. Does anybody here happen to speak Latin? That's such an absurd question.
I know a little bit.
So anyone looking to translate is going to be a intellect humanities, I think.
I would like to attempt.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Bearing in mind, you do have those rewrites. Remember, you've got that as well, so you can.
Alright. Intellect humanity.
I think so. Yes.
Alright. Just that. Wow. Lovely.
Do you want me to take a look?
Yes, but I'll say you can have a look, but the challenge is higher. But on the that failed roll. Wait a bit.
Do I have to change anything in the value thing?
No, it's still intellect humanities.
Oh.
And any rewrites, anyone?
What do you use trademarks for? Sorry.
Trademarks are the you get when you make the roll. You add 2 to the roll, but
Okay.
but bear in mind they're a single-use item. You delete it once it's done.
And this is per... Yeah, okay, alright.
Per story, yes. So.
Alright,
Alright, you said... Okay, I'm gonna use a rewrite here.
Go for it, as...
Basically what I'm rewriting is the fact that instead of asking if anybody speaks Latin, since I kind of already know what the dice roll is, he's just gonna translate it, or he's gonna attempt to translate it because he has a 3 in intellect and 3 in humanities. So I have 6 dice here. It's a pretty good roll for me.
So that's a do-over on the roll.
Okay, so that's the...
So that's 3 rewrites, but you get to make the roll again. As there's a cry of cut, and as Bruno once again kind of walks in and goes, right, pulls out a copy of the script. And shows you the translation. Can anyone remember this?
right, that's what that means.
Absolutely, right. And when you're ready.
Alright, so here we go.
And action.
So that was intellect and humanities.
Yeah, bear in mind, and you can add obviously your trademarks if you want to.
I don't have a trademark that I think applies here.
Okay.
Submit. Watch me not get anything.
God, you got this.
Okay. As you cast your eyes around the room, muttering the words, "It is not for you to know. She will be born again. What has begun cannot be stopped."
As I finish muttering this, I perhaps this is a clue that leads me to my doom. I kind of say this underneath my breath, still wiping my mouth with the handkerchief. And yes, that is one of my quips.
So, quips. Oh, I need to remind myself here. So, it's always with a new system, there's always that kind of like familiarizing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me what quips do. Do you.
Quips are funny little sayings. No.
Quip mechanics, there we go. Okay, so we all get to decide, was the quip used in a way that was suitable, as that is going to be one of our trailer sting moments. Personally, which one was it? Sorry, remind me.
Perhaps this is the clue that leads me to my doom.
So I'm going to say, everyone just drop me a private message, yes or no. If you think that's suitable, and if it's acceptable, your next roll, you can have additional die on the next roll.
Okay. You choose my fate, friend.
It's a unanimous yes. So you get rid of that quip card and draw a new one.
Alright, so drawing my next quip, I will do that from just my standard deck. I already have that one.
Just draw it again.
Okay. Yeah, that was one of the ones that I had drawn before when we did character creation. I've already got that one. It rolls the two that I already have. Really? Okay, there we go. I have a new one now.
Great stuff. Okay, so yes, you get bonus die on your next roll. That will be, and essentially, if you get, I'm not sure how many die. It doesn't say how many die you get. We'll say 2. That seems to be pretty standard.
The first time a player uses a specific quip, the player is awarded 1 additional die.
I just want to die. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay. And yeah, as the chilling words come from Jarad, What would you like to do?
Shit.
Deandro, Arden?
Could you send the translation? I remember she is to be born again, but I don't remember the second.
What has begun cannot be stopped.
Oh, all right.
I hear you. Anything anyone would like to do?
I guess at this point, I'll just start moving about the room, seeing if I can find anything that maybe the inspectors missed.
Okay, with that, yeah, give me a... I will either intellect or cunning enigma.
Both are the same for me.
Okay.
And I get one bonus die.
Yeah. How many?
One success.
Oh, unfortunately, if you get 3, the scene becomes award-winning. As looking through the debris, the torn bed sheets, and opening up a bedside drawer, you find an invitation to an address of the last night's meeting of the Infernal Club with special guest Madame Striga. She of second sight and who speaks with the voices of the dead.
Speaks with the voices of the dead? Who's this Madame Striga?
What have you found there?
It is an invitation to that club that this individual was a part of. Supposedly they had a special guest that can speak with the voices of the dead.
Oh yeah, I've heard of those people. What's that hobby anyway? Just gloomy. They make somebody come and pretend that they are in trance and say creepy stuff and show the white of their eyes and talk that they are their deceased grandma or something.
Fortune teller person thing?
A medium?
Yes. Yes, that medium. Thank you.
Or scammers, to be honest.
I mean, a rose by any other name.
When was this? Is there a date listed?
It was yesterday. So once a year the Infernal Club gathers, and obviously Harlan Hamilton was absent, given that he was bisected. So the others had this annual get-together and this special guest of Madame Striga.
Okay.
Is there any picture or drawing of Madame Striga on the invitation?
There's no... I will say, let's Oh. I will say that it's not on the invitation, but certainly towards the into the south of London and slightly into the east, where you get the slightly more music hall type theatres. There are a couple of posters which occasionally advertise when she's in residence at these smaller venues. There's a poster of her, pretty much what you would expect of someone like this. She wears a black veil, and the poster art is an illustration as well, as she emanates smoke out of her eyes and mouth, and very, very mystical and showy.
Well, they're hiring, or they have a known quantity showing up to these things. At least. I vaguely remember seeing posters of her. Now, normally I would say that we should go talk to her, because having a special guest and then somebody be murdered leads me to think the special guest, but he never made it there. And at this, Jarad puts down the letter and, begins to pace back and forth as he begins to run things through in his mind.
And as you do, as you make your way back down the stairs, out into the street, the officers nod as you return to your waiting carriage. You step inside, and as you do, a figure watches you from the rooftops. Narrowing her slitted cat-like eyes. And as you leave into the fog and the mist, she disperses into mist, disappearing into the wind.